Going on, everybody? This is Brandon Stampede Realty, Real Estate Brokers of Alaska, and we're going to attempt to try to get a page we haven't done yet. So I'm going to kind of look at the front of the book instead of the back. Ask for suggestions and feedback, not just reviews. Go over your listing strategy. I'm going to do a good one. Ask for reviews today. Add a new tool to your open house toolkit. Well, that's a hard one because I don't do open houses. Check in on what's working and what's not. What can you tweak? Can you tweak something in your financials today? No more coffee. Yeah, no more coffee. Ask for suggestions and feedback. Now, this could be a hard one because we all know everyone has an opinion, and sometimes opinions aren't the best from everybody. But let's start off with broker. Sometimes your broker is your best ally. He's your best mentor. He or she can be your best mentor. Some of your fellow agents in your own brokerage can also be some of your best allies because they're in the same trenches as you are. They're in the same office as you are. Even though you guys are independent businesses, you are agent ABC and they are agent XYZ. Maybe they can help you tweak some of your stuff. Agents you've done business with, whether you were on the buying side, selling side, referral side, sometimes they can also give you some really good suggestions and feedback. Past clients are always some of the best people to give you some suggestions and their feedback. Not always just for their reviews. Sometimes you might want to ask people who didn't use you. Ask them. Just have the conversation. Just ask them, hey, I know that we had talked and you went with somebody else. I just want to know, was there something else I could have done? And you know what? There are sometimes they'll just say, hey, maybe it was just something else that had nothing to do with you. Or sometimes it did have something to do with you. You'll be surprised at some of the answers that you will get. Because sometimes it's something as simple as, well, you really don't like Hulk Hogan. And I'm like, yeah, I just don't talk about him as much as I talk about, let's say, John Cena. Yeah, that was actually a conversation, folks. Some conversation. And I've also had somebody say, well, you're kind of too much into that wrestling. I don't like that. Well, that's fine. You know what? That's fine. If you're happy, that's all there is to it. So there's always something for everyone. There's people who do the whole Disney thing, the Star Wars thing. And somebody, I know the raving realtor, and somebody told her she's immature. And I'm like, no, she's not. But okay, whatever. Ask for suggestions. Here's a good one. And they will give it to you free of charge. Now I know I do make a lot of jokes about ours being the bloodsuckers. They're not. Nancy is really cool. If you call her and you ask her a question, you send her an email. It may take 20 years, but that's fine. She's busy. There's like 3,000 of us in this state, and there's only one of her. And she also has to run the general store. She also has to teach, 10th grade geometry and I'm sure she probably has to drive the school bus, but Nancy is really good at telling us, just if we ask her a question about compliance, she gets back to us. If I send her a sign and say, hey, this is the sign I'm going with, can you help me out? She'll either say, it's just right or just about there, or she'll just say, if you even think about printing that, I'll just yank your license. And it's usually just because it just looks stupid. So thank you so much. So yeah, your state commission, they're not always out there to ding you. Sometimes if you just go to them, ask them the question, they would rather tell you no than to yank your license or to fine you. So just get comfortable with just having a conversation with them. As for suggestions and feedback, here's a good one. Local businesses, they will give you suggestions. They will give you feedback. Usually it's use them more. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with it. Y'all are all in the same community together. We're all in the same community together. I can also be guilty of not using the people that are surrounding me because I prefer people that I've been loyal to, that have treated me well. And I am going to start using people here. Her name is Wheelhouse. I'm going to use her for some of my signs. I'm not going to do everything through All Things Real Estate. Some of my new stuff will come from an Alaskan maker because I think, hey, put the money in your community. So as for suggestions and feedback, this could be a very tough one because family, sometimes family can be the worst. Sometimes they could be the best. It just depends on what day, what week, what time, what year. Do they need money? Do they owe you money? Do you owe them money? So family could be a tough one, but they can be sometimes the best ones. And once again, I do have those family members that have asked me for agents and they haven't used them. So sometimes I do ask them, why didn't you use the agent I gave you? Or why didn't you use the lender I gave you? Sometimes they can give me a good answer. Sometimes they just give me that answer that says, yeah, don't ever call me again. You're not family, you're a relative. So anyway, I'm done with this one. I'm actually glad I did this one. Yeah, actually, I am really glad I did that one. I'm going to try to fill this one out. And at the end of the year, we're going to pick maybe about 10 pages and we're going to do long form, or like a long form review of what I've done with some of this stuff. But have a good night.